Jay Gabler, Duluth News Tribune arts and entertainment reporter, here with another special episode of the DNT Minute, featuring my column, Front Row Seat. This week I go to the Great Minnesota Get-Together, not, as a fair employee pointed out in my feature recently, just the Great Minneapolis-St. Paul Get-Together. No, all of Minnesota, and I found proof when I went looking for people and places and products of the Northland at the Minnesota State Fair. Even without the lobster slide, Scenic 61 was doing brisk business. We did twice as well this year as we did last year on the Minnesota State Fair's opening day, said Shelley Culver, a returning employee at the Airstream trailer run by Duluth's new Scenic Cafe. Playing it safe to ensure no morsel of the filling was wasted, Culver slid a lobster eclair out the window to me, rather than using the slide that so amused last year's fairgoers. Instead of last year's lobster rolls and sashimi tuna tacos, this year the trailer is selling lobster and banh mi eclairs. Just about every vendor was feeling good. Friday, August 23rd, the day after the fair, set a new record for opening day attendance. While most of those hungry fairgoers statistically come from the Twin Cities metro area, I found Northlanders making an impact across the sprawling grounds. Possibly the biggest Northland attraction in this year's fair, and certainly the biggest in a literal sense, is a 160,490-pound dipper, or ore scoop, manufactured by Komatsu and trucked into the fairgrounds from the Iron Range. Our primary purpose here is to support the Iron Mining Association and talk about some of the impacts in the state, explained Jim Tooney, Komatsu Regional Manager for the Iron Range. A lot of people in the southern part of the state don't even have any idea we mine in the northern part of the state. As Tooney spoke with me, families clambered in and out of the scoop, which is the size of a small house. Tooney explained the company is also recruiting welders. We wanted to bring something that our welders built so we can show people and say, hey, this is the kind of stuff we do in Virginia. It didn't take any arm twisting to get the fair to agree to have the scoop parked on Wright Avenue. They were excited to have it, Tooney said. In the nearby education building, a Northland radio station was providing the soundtrack. Marty Connor, programming manager at KBFT, was broadcasting live from the Ampers booth. It's a community radio station serving the communities of Nett Lake, Orr, and Cook, Minnesota, Connor explained. We reach as far as the Canadian border, west out toward Big Woods, up to Crane Lake, and just north of Virginia. Connor said he enjoys bringing his community programming to the fair. It's fun to get to see all different types of people from all walks of life here, he said. Up north, though, his station is still reeling from a February computer crash that caused the loss of some irreplaceable audio files. We didn't lose all of it, said Connor, but the station, owned and operated by the Boys Fort Band of Chippewa, did lose a lot of the recordings that we had of people that came to do shows or even stories from elders, and it was kind of heartbreaking. While some of the elders who shared their wisdom have since passed on, said Connor, the station is continuing its work of gathering oral histories and local wisdom. They're also hoping to increase their coverage of prep sports, traditionally a big listener draw. In the meantime, Connor was planning to check out some of the fair's new foods. While it was too early to share recommendations, he did know what he'd be passing on. I'm not too keen, he admitted, on fried pickles. In the 4-H building, items were helpfully tagged with county names in large print, making it easy to identify which projects came from the Northland. Tyler Nash, a Hibbing teen I'd interviewed about his prize-winning poultry at the St. Louis County Fair, proved to be a young man of many talents. He stitched a curling stone. Northland kids had numerous poster board displays on view, the most immediately practical of which came from 7th grader Isaac Hughes of South St. Louis County. For $1.75 of cream cheese, a quarter's worth of butter, 30 cents worth of basil, 6 cents worth of garlic, and just a nickel's worth of parsley, Hughes learned he could make a garlic cheese dip that his family members preferred to 2 store brands, costing over twice as much per ounce. Another St. Louis County 4-H'er, Logan Mackey, had a very on-brand display titled Twin Ports Winter Layup of Cargo Ships 2024. I hope someone at the Lake Superior Maritime Visitor Center saved a Junior Ranger badge for Mackey, who shared interesting facts and photos, including some from a, quote, dream come true personal tour of the American spirit. After stopping by the University of Minnesota exhibit to see Champ, representing Duluth, in a display allowing visitors to see the state's 5 different campus mascots, rocking a variety of outfits, the Bulldog, presumably being the only Minnesota mascot picked for his physical resemblance to an actual student athlete, I hit the food building for a hot and delicious Reuben dog from Peter's. That vendor is owned by a Normanna Township family, continuing an 85-year tradition. While the fair's multiplying food options mean business isn't quite as brisk as it was back when fairgoers bought a hot dog every 2 seconds, yes, literally, the young person who served me said business had been strong, especially during the lunch rush. The owners of Bailey Builds have been gushing on social media about their success at the Minnesota State Fair, where they won a 2021 vendor award and were seeing a brisk flow of traffic Friday. Their items for sale included a representation of their home base in the form of wood art with the Duluth street grid overlaid on an outline of Lake Superior, but I was most tempted by Anna Bailey's viral mug house with little arched cubbies to display all your favorites. Wouldn't my vintage Duluth News-Tribune Superior Edition mug look good there? Northland names were relatively scarce in the Creative Arts Building, though I did notice the award-winning embroidery of Duluth's Marla Stainbrook, and the work of an unnamed senior who quilted a square featuring Silver Bay mascot Rocky Taconite. The situation was much different in fine arts, where the ability to submit work remotely seems to have encouraged Northland artists to participate. By and large, their work celebrated our Great Lake, and no fewer than 3 pieces included Duluth's built landscape. From an artistic perspective, my favorite local piece was Mary Jo Vandel's Nightscape, a painting peeking underneath the aerial lift bridge, but it was hard to argue with the title of a Danielle Thrallo photograph of lightning striking the lake among 3 vessels outside Duluth's harbor. 3 lucky ships, Thrallo called the image. Before signing off, I swung by the Agriculture Horticulture Building to see how Duluth scarecrow maker Mike Olson fared this year. I profiled Olson last year when he submitted a Charlie Brown scarecrow built from a propane tank and other parts. Charlie Brown didn't win a ribbon, but Ron Kelsey did. Olson built a wood representation of Kelsey, a state fair legend who spent a quarter century as superintendent of crop displays. Last Friday, I found Kelsey himself standing beside the scarecrow and entertaining a continuous stream of admirers. "It's interesting," said Kelsey in a quintessentially Minnesotan take on Olson's champion scarecrow. Then he offered a more enthusiastic appraisal. "I think it's great." Other Northland scarecrows include a Smelt Parade tribute by Duluth's Hannah Grunsky and a Judy Garland tribute, albeit coming from Scott County rather than Garland's home county of Itasca. Kelsey said he'd never met Olson until the Duluthian arrived this year. Everyone's favorite detail, it seems, is the carefully replicated corn ear tattoo that the octogenarian Kelsey had etched onto his right arm at age 75. "I didn't see the tattoo at first," said Kelsey. "Then I noticed it and thought, oh boy, there it is." The Agriculture Horticulture Building, dating to 1947, was brand new the first year I came, said Kelsey. It remains one of the fair's signature attractions, and my favorite thing to see there is the Minnesota Christmas Tree Association display. Walking through this year, I was proud to see that Bork Christmas trees of sandstone won a blue ribbon for Best Decorated Wreath. Their festive creation left me with a warm glow. After all, the Christmas season and Minnesota State Fair season are the 2 happiest times of the year. That's my column for this week. Next week, I'll be back with a column about a major landmark that is being torn down right now here in Duluth. But that's next week. Until then, I'm Jay Gabler, Duluth News Tribune.